Welcome. Welcome. My name is Brian Knight and I live in Melbourne, in Australia, and it's just turned 5 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. For me, it's a couple of hours before market opens. And for Darren and Tom there, it'll be a Sunday, Sunday middle of the day for Tom and the evening, I think, for Darren. So welcome. I think, Tom, we need to explore this discussion last week a little bit more. Had a bit of a look, but I'd like to anyway, we'll see.
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. It's school holidays here for 2 weeks, so I don't have to run away to do the bus.
I was going to ask you how to go last week.
I know it was good. Yeah.
Did you train that lady?
Yeah. No, she got on the Friday. The kids were oh, did I tell you on the Thursday night what some of the primary school kids were bawling their eyes out. Oh God.
Why is
You
that?
can't. Well, they didn't
Because
want
you're
me to
leaving?
leave. Yeah, well, because I'm going on to another thing which I won't be picking them up. So they were no, a couple of them were crying their eyes out and screaming, and anyway. That's
Oh, that's
okay.
nice. I mean,
It was
it's sad, but it's nice.
Yeah. And the secondary school kids were really nice. They had some very it's just I suppose it just sort of because a couple of them said, like we haven't had a driver that cares as much as you do, which is like such a yeah, that was so nice. Anyway,
Absolutely.
right, yes, trained her. We'll see. I've got to stay in my manual bus and she'll get an automatic. It's like, oh God, you don't even get bloody upgraded. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's all cool. I actually quite like the bus I'm in, so it doesn't matter. So just a welcome to this session. We need to get on and have a look at stuff. Please note that Australia's discussed in this group are to be classed as educational. And well, the reason for that is we're a group of people helping each other and we're not financial advisors. There's a full risk disclosure and a bit about us as live session traders. So, Darren, did you get to see, you might be out and about anyway or whatever, did you get to see our discussion from the end of the week?
No, I didn't, Brian. No, I haven't seen that at all.
Oh,
Out about travelling, so I haven't watched the
well,
recording, unfortunately.
it might be something that you that would, yeah. Well, you're an integral part of this discussion group, so I think it's important that we go through it. Tom's observations. Where am I? I'm there. Let me just drag this across because I think this is. Oh, I'm gonna put that up. I'll do that. Right. So that's a whole lot of discussion. There's the reasoning behind it, and this is some of the and it says by the end of the thread, you'll understand whether or not a fair value gap will hold or not hold, right? And we need to look at through some examples there, Tom, because I've got questions and what your thoughts might be on some of those, on some of the pairs. Okay.
Okay.
So where do we start at? Maybe we'll start. No, we won't start there. We'll go through that. Where is it? It's there. Right. So do you want to explain it, Tom? Because I don't want
Well,
to.
you can kind of you can go through each slide here real quick. It's just
Yeah.
a minute, just a 1 minute thing.
Yeah. Okay. So here, Darren, is important, and one of the slides will say, but the most important thing, or there is an important factor, is that the daily, and we know this already, has more influence on this than what a 4 hour or 1 hour or 15 minute or whatever will actually hit. So what you currently do anyway with your daily is the has the overriding strength in relation to this.
Right,
And we
right. So it basically it's your daily fair value gap has more value than a 4 hour gap or a 1 hour gap. Is that what you're trying to say, Brian?
yes, and maybe I didn't say that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
We'll go through. So a fair value gap, and this is my challenge the end of last week, my Friday, was I had seen fair value gaps slightly different to what Tom was explaining. And a fair value gap is actually in relation to three candles, right? Even though that's across there. So 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't matter about the color of them. It just is that there is a gap between where this candle here, the candle actually finished down there if it's a sell, but it doesn't really matter. It's the top of the wick there and the bottom of the wick over here, and what is filled in between, right? And the reason why this has failed is because this third candle, 1, 2, third one, doesn't come down and take out any of that gap, that fair value gap. So whether it doesn't matter. This could be on a daily, okay? And what this could mean, Darren, is that it could mean that this will, well, what they're suggesting here is this means because it's failed, it's more inclined to go in that buy direction than it is to go into a sell direction. If it fails, it's more likely potentially to go into a sell. We can't say it'll go for how long or whatever. None of us can. But it just gives an overview of potentially direction, in the shorter term.
Yeah.
So then if we go to the next one. So fair value gap represents price imbalances where one side of the market liquidity is insufficiently offered. So this often creates 3 candle gap in the price chart when mastered. These gaps, golden entry points and powerful price reversal markers. So it could be that for continuation or for where it's going to go in the opposite direction. And this is like you have 1, 2, 3 candles, and that's that gap in between again. Yeah. Next. So, oh God, what was the DOL again? It was the draw on liquidity. Okay. So this is draw on liquidity example as such. And so you have a fair value gap here, a fair value gap there, a fair value gap there, right? So here, for example, what you have is you have 1, 2, 3 candles, and you have the gap in there, and the candle came down, and yes, the wick went into it, but the body didn't, and it continued up. Got that? So then you go 1, 2, 3. You've got the wick comes down here, but it continues on because it doesn't break this fair value gap. Makes sense, Darren?
Yeah.
But then up here, you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got the gap, and this candle comes down into it, but it did continue up. All right, so here you've got fair value gap in alignment with a draw on liquidity. So it just comes into it to touch it, yep, to take, or to not to break that. So it actually to engulf or break that fair value gap, and it continues on. Up here, it came down here again in this area, but also too did not take out that fair value gap, and it continues up. Here, where it pulled back, again, this is not
That's
an
a
alignment.
failure.
Correct. So what happens is it creates a fair value at 1, 2, 3, and the body comes down and past that, but it did continue on though, Tom.
Yeah, that's what the failure creates, a continuation. That's why they're inverted. So you have a fair value gap that formed going down, right? You see the two gray candles and the one
Oh,
green one?
yeah.
So that's a fair value. So when it pulls back through it, it fails.
Yeah.
The one that it bounced out of, giving the displacement down here, the drawn liquidity, held.
Yeah.
So your entry would be, there's your stop loss at the bottom of that wick, and your entry would be at the top of the candle to the left.
Right. Yeah, over here.
One more.
There.
Yeah, right there.
Well, it could even be at the bottom of that one.
Well, you could also move your stop loss up to the bottom of that failed fair value gap, because it shouldn't pull back through, right?
Correct. So so this is where this is some of my difficulty there, Darren.
Right.
So
right. Yep.
So what Tom's saying, Tom's got this across his head. I'm still trying to get it in the thing. So it did break it. See where the red part is, it actually went through it, and it failed that fair value gap, but it continued on. It's not actually a turning point as such. Right. So yeah, fair value gaps don't just hold every time. That's what they're saying in this, and maybe it'll become clearer as we go along.
Yeah.
So then over here, the strongest fair value gap are those that are unused and in current price action. So don't use the fair value gap that has already been traded. For example, this is you got swing low, swing high there, right? So price is going up, it pulls back. And this one's, how do I put this? This fair
That's
value
the one that
gap,
held.
correct. It's been used but held. Because what happens is price, so you got 1, 2, 3, you got the gap, all right? Got 1, 2, 3, there would be a gap, but it's there's no gap because that's got the top there and the bottom there. So there's no fair value gap. Price comes, so buy. Price goes sell, and then this goes down into it with a wick, but pulls away, right? So this has been used as such, but not broken. Does that make sense? So then price will continue, or well, most likely price will continue up. Then you got 1, 2, 3 candles. You got the fair value gap in there, right? Price goes up, creates swing high, 1, 2, 3, right? So you've got the fair value gap from the left. This actually creates a fair value gap in here on the way back down, right? This is the stronger fair value gap because it is unused and found in the recent price leg. So see how this actually came down with the wick. This one didn't come down with the wick into it.
Oh.
So when it comes back down and breaks it, this is potentially the next candle, but that's been used, right? That fair value gap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go to the next bit. So this is where the daily fair value gap, so the higher time frame, the more influential the fair value gap. For example, a daily fair value gap is far more impactful than the 4 hour fair value gap. Prioritize the higher time frame fair value gaps for better results, right? So this is a daily down here, and that's the 4 hour. So price one, where is it? How does that, hang on. This must come from over here somewhere. It's not actually here.
That's the daily fair value gap.
Yeah, but
It's going to
it's
look
from,
different on the lower time frame.
yeah, but it's previously over there.
Right.
It's not in here. So what
Right.
happens is,
This could have been the push up to take it. So because this is the 4 hour fair value gap in the pink
yeah,
or red, whatever color that is,
yeah,
and
pinky
the
red.
daily fair value gap may have been created on the leg down, and this is just pulling back up through.
Oh, right. This is in the leg down. Okay, yeah. So that fair value gap is, but
Coming from the left.
but wouldn't it be taken because it's already gone through it and it's coming back up again?
I don't know. I can't see where it was created. This may be the second time it's been passed through. I don't know.
Right.
Couldn't be made. It could have been made on the daily time frame, and this is just where they picked the drawing up. I have no idea.
Yeah. No. But if a fair value gap is taken, isn't it? It's that's sort of like used and redundant, isn't it? Or is it still relevant?
No, it's still relevant because if this was on a down move, for example, if this was heading down, and it created a fair value gap on the daily, and this pushed down and pushed up, and it tapped it and pushed down and tapped it and pushed down and tapped it and pushed down, and then all of a sudden it breaks up across it, and now it's going to tap it to take off again. It's like it's been creating lows. Now it finally broke, pulled back to it, and now it's taken off.
Right.
It's just not relevant until it's just no longer relevant. If you're, 500 pips away from it,
so
it's
this
probably
could
not
be
relevant anymore.
This could be over to the left, going up and down, up and down, up and down, and
Or
just
just bouncing along the
it.
bottom, just bounce.
And then it's come up, just
Tested
poked
it.
into it, and then taken off.
Right.
And this daily observation where it just comes into it like this, but doesn't break it anymore, like it did over here, then the 4 hour isn't as relevant because you've got 1, 2, 3 with a fair value gap in there, or you got 1, 2, 3 there with a fair value gap. And basically it's broken it there and broken it back up there, isn't it? Or gone
because
through
that
it.
daily held.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So this is like, for example, this is where fair value gaps align with other, I don't know what PD stands for, but is it over here somewhere? No. Anyway, either a high or a low within a candle, I think it is. So basically that's there. See how it's the top of that candle. Don't, like there isn't any fair value gaps in there. All of a sudden, this creates a fair value gap in here with those 3 candles, 1, 2, 3, and you've got a fair value gap. This comes down, and when you've got this plus this together, something like that, and that together, that's a lot stronger. You've got a couple of things together in play. Yeah. Whatever PD stands for. So it increases the likelihood of the price leg holding. So it comes down, well, that's 3. So it's less likely to break that and for it to price to increase. Yeah. Does any of that make sense, Darren? You're muted
It
at the
does.
moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of
Very
makes
good.
sense. Yeah.
So here's an example that we took time with. And so on the daily over here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 fair value gaps on the way up. This is AUD CAD, okay? And this is daily on the left. This is a 4-hour on the right, okay? And you can see there is still that fair value gap in there. It's not on 3 candles. It's actually on more candles. It's, but that's where it is on the daily. That's where it is on the daily. That was where it was on the daily up there. And this down here is also on the daily. Now, if you look at it, this came up, came back down, put a wick into it, but price still went up. It came up to this point, it came back down, didn't break it, and pushed back up. Yeah? It came up here, and this is my question, Tom. Price went into it, but certainly it didn't break it, and it did this wick down in here. And I think what Tom, you said last week on my Friday anyway, the end of the trading week then, is it as long as it doesn't come down below it, is it? Or like this is a bit like I need to interpret this a bit. Can you give me?
Okay, so here's, am I on mute? No.
No, you're
Okay.
right. You're off.
So here's how I use them. I find the top of the structure, go to the daily.
Like
Find the
that?
top of the structure. Yep. Where's the one that hasn't broke yet?
Oh. There. Come on. There you go.
Okay. So where it has not broke yet, where's the next fair value gap?
On the daily,
Yeah.
it's over here somewhere. Oh,
Okay.
we put it in that no, we put it in. It's that yellow one over here. Hang on a
Okay.
minute. Let me just change that to white so we can see it easier. Yeah, we go. Yeah, we
So
went searching. So we went here, across, and then looked for fair value gap, and that's where it is up here.
right. Okay. So now we know where the fair value gap is.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke your trend line.
Yes, correct.
Okay. You see that the second short back where you have your arrow?
Yep.
Okay, that's structure. Can you make a little, can you make something in there or just blow it up a little bit maybe so we can see it?
There.
Okay. So if you'll notice,
It's that red. It's on that red or pinky red line. Yeah.
that's the yearly line. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the
So
easy.
we're right at structure. We're
Mm-hmm.
right at structure. It's either going to break through here or it's going to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
Our target is at the top at the green fair value, right? We already have a long on the bottom. Can you go to the 4-hour? You have a fair value gap at structure that broke the trend line with a target up above. So it's going to do one of two things, right? It's
Wait,
either
wait,
gonna
wait,
push up.
wait, stop, Tom, stop. So when you say it broke this trend line,
No, it broke the trend line on the daily.
oh, sorry. Yeah, just across here. Yeah, this
Yeah,
one.
right.
Yep.
Okay. So it's either going to go down or it's going to go up, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So at this point, all I'm looking for is whatever happens after Tuesday. I'm going
yeah.
to let this play out after Tuesday.
Mhm.
And then whatever signal I get, it's going to have to conform to the last fair value gap it failed to take. So now go back down to the 4 hour at the bottom where you got your long down there. Can you blow that up a little bit?
Mhm.
Because now I'm
Yeah.
looking for a short up here. So it's going to do the exact same thing. If you draw a fair value gap, see that white one down there at the bottom?
Yeah.
Can you fix that? It should be between the two candles.
Here,
Yeah.
I've got to fix it. Okay, hang on a minute. How am I going to fix it? Let's go have a look. This is my challenge, Darren, the other day. 1, 2, 3. You mean it's got to be down in here?
Yep.
Ah, but it's not on the daily though.
No, it's on the 4 hour, right?
Yeah, this is 4 hour, but it's also over on the daily.
Okay, open up,
See,
do
this is
switch.
wrong. This is not right here on that 4 hour because I placed these on the daily. Yeah.
Okay,
So
can you
now,
bring up half the page of the daily? There you go.
yeah,
And go to that long where it matches.
yeah, sure. Just in here.
Okay, can you split your screen and do the 4 hour on it as well?
Yeah,
Thank you.
let's see.
Okay,
There.
so as I'm looking at this and it's playing out, I know I'm looking for a long, right?
No, short now, but that's along there. Yes.
A long at the bottom.
Yeah.
So those longs match, don't they?
Yeah, they
Are they on
do.
the same candle?
Uh, well, they're around about the same. Yeah.
Round about the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you'll notice on that fair value gap on the 4 hour at the very bottom on the white, can you
Hmm.
go down there and blow up that fair value gap? Just let me see the whole fair value gap down there at the very bottom on the 4 hour.
This one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Can. You want it like that?
Yeah. You see, if you can move that white box over one candle in either direction, if you'll notice, that's not a fair value gap.
No, it's not.
That's structure. So you take the whole candle from the top of the wick of the red candle, slide it up, and then take the wick on the bottom, slide that down. That's actually structure because there's no fair value gap here. That's why this long wick didn't beat the bottom.
Hey, wait. Stop. You mean the long week here?
Yep.
Okay. That makes
That's why
sense.
that's why this is not a fair value
Oh,
gap. So leave that there. And then shrink it down just a
yeah,
little
but
bit so we can
I'll
see
need
the
to have that as a different color though, because it's not a fair value gap. Let me just make that yellow as a structure. Yeah.
okay.
Big. Yeah. So on the 4 hour, but then and also to hang on a minute, let's go see on the daily, it's not a fair value gap either here.
Right.
But this is where price turned, though. Hang on a minute. Hang on. So there's no fair value gaps in there at all,
Right.
going down or until here going up.
Right.
Because on the daily, yeah, come down there a bit. And that one up a little bit. That's a fair value gap in there. Yeah.
hmm
Okay. Sorry, Tom. I'm just.
That's okay.
So this is not a fair value gap. It's a structure, but it came down, but didn't break it and then took away. It went away.
Right. Okay. Shrink that down just a little bit on the 4 hour. Okay. So find the next fair value gap.
Which is in here.
No. Right.
You
Right.
mean
You
on
see
the
that long?
yeah, you mean on the 4 hour.
Yes.
Okay. It's not in there.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's down. It's right where you were at. See the long, that green candle right next to it, right? Right where you're, nope, go over one, right where you were.
yeah.
That one at the bottom to the top of the red wick. To the left.
Oh, yeah, there. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a fair value
Hang on a
gap.
minute. Hang on.
That's good. Okay. You see how it got taken?
By the wick, went past
Yep.
it.
Wick went past it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you got a long on there,
Along before it, yeah.
right? But the next candle came down, tapped it, and away it went.
Mm-hmm.
It shot up. It created a new fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame. Right above it, that big fair value gap.
Which is
That
it's
candle
not
right there, that big one.
yeah, but it's not this daily one.
No,
It's that one.
no. Drag it up to the top of the candle.
Oh, it is too.
No,
Uh,
no, the next candle over from the one you're at the bottom. Right there. That's 1, 2, 3 candles.
oh
Came
yeah,
in,
sorry. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
came in, tapped came in, created the daily. I'm sorry, came in, created the 4 hour, tapped the daily, and off it went.
Yeah, I tapped the daily. Yeah.
Shrink it down some more. Let's keep going up. There's another fair value gap. There's a small one there. 1, 2, 3
Just
candles
there.
there. Yep.
That one in there.
Don't bother putting that in. Don't bother.
Oh,
And then if you
okay.
go just the candle above it, 1, 2, 3, there's another small one there. And then keep pushing up.
Well,
You
hang
see
on.
it?
Where's that? No, I don't
Okay,
see
you
it.
saw the first one we put in?
Hang on, let me do it because I think if we put it in 1, 2, 3, so it's actually from the top of that to the bottom of that. Yeah, that's
And then
one.
right above that candle is another one. 1, 2, 3.
Ah, that's what you're saying. From here to there.
Right.
On the 4 hour.
On the 4 hour.
I need to make these different on different time frames.
Well, I'm going to show you why you really don't need all these. It just takes
Yeah.
up your screen.
Yeah, okay.
So keep going up. Okay, there's another one that was created, but it came back to it.
That's not, yeah, it's
That's
not.
not one. That's not one.
No,
That's all been taken. That one, that's one.
there's a tiny little bit in there.
Yeah, but look at it. It held. The size of them are irrelevant.
No, oh, you mean it just bounced along it, but didn't, it did puncture it,
Yeah, but
but it held.
yeah, it held. It doesn't matter whether it punctured it or not. So as
Okay.
it travels up, it created another one right above it. One, two, three.
Yeah, another
And you see
little,
how it came back and checked it?
hang on.
So the one before that got created and it got taken. Then it created another one, pulled back, got taken. Now it's created yet another one, and that's where we're at now. So it's come back, taken it with that green wick.
This one.
No, keep going up. Keep
Oh,
going
that,
up.
no, that
Yeah.
green wick.
Yes. So see how it created the fair value gap there?
Yeah, it's in there. I can see it's there. Yeah.
Okay. So now we know it punctured. So now let's start putting it together. We're at a structure point. We broke a trend line. We're working off a traveled long. We're looking for a short.
Yeah, correct.
So putting all those things together of what we're actually looking for, I am looking
So,
for a continuation up because it does not stay short on the
ah,
daily time frame.
okay, yeah.
So this is going to me, all I'm waiting for is I've already put a trend line down from the top of that green wick down across the top of those red wicks. Just like that. So now we've come to an inflection point because there's targets higher, but there's a lot of these little fair value gaps that haven't been taken up at the bottom yet.
Mm-hmm.
So either this is going to be a fake out and get everybody moving because it's broken the higher time frame downtrend line, which is where your top yellow trend line is there. And it already spiked down to take the liquidity out of the last fair value gap.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I looking for now? Now I go back to what that diagram was telling me. I'm looking for the fair value gap that holds here. So as this plays out, it's going to create a fair value gap, either to the high or to the low. When it does, I'm going to draw my fair value gap across, just like at the bottom. Go back to the 4 hour on the bottom with the long. So it's playing out, it's playing out, it's playing out. It keeps taking all these fair value gaps. I've got a long, right? So up top, I'm looking for a short. It's going to give me a fair value gap at some point. At some point, this is going to come back and test. So as it's coming down on the 4 hour for the short, it's going to create a long. See the long? It's going to give me one long candle, but it's going to be red. It's going to be a short candle. And I'm going to take that fair value gap and draw it out and across and wait for the price to come back to it. When price comes back to it, it's either going to hold or it's going to break. So then my entry
You're talking
becomes
about up here.
right. So it's going to give me one long red candle I'm going to draw the fair value gap through it. It should say short, and it'll give me a nice long red candle.
Yeah.
And all I'm going to do is on the 4 hour, I'm going to put a fair value gap there. If I want to find out if it's going to keep going or it's going to turn around and go back through, I can actually drop to the 1 hour, see if it's done a pullback and a push on the 1 hour time frame, which means it won't do it on the 4 hour. It'll just keep pushing down. And just the opposite if it's going up from here. So it's going to give me a nice big green candle push up. It's going to make me create a fair value gap like it just did, just higher. And it's going to turn and just continue up. It's going to take the fair value gap out at the bottom, sweeping the liquidity, and then push up to take the liquidity out at the top, just like it did here, just like it did the prior one. So the only fair value gap it didn't come back to test was this one on the daily. The daily time frame one, that big one right there, right?
The one here.
Yes. The big one on the 4 hour too.
Which is there.
That's that one.
There.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for this to buy. If this turns around here and keeps pushing up, I'm in the right side of the direction. It's going to have to break this high to keep going up, which means we're going to make a new high on the daily side. Because we've already taken out the short in the middle. Where's the next short on the daily side?
Is that high over there? Over here.
And where's the top of that candle? That short candle?
Hang on, find it. Right at the fair value gap. Oh, well, the top of the candle is, but the wick is
well,
above
wait. So there it is. There's the top of the candle, right?
Just there.
What lies before it?
The yearly high.
No, the fair value gap is right before the top of that candle. See where it says short?
Yeah, sure. That candle there,
That's the fair value gap right there, that white box.
it's just in there. Yeah.
Yes. So it has to come back and take that fair value gap, but that is either going to get taken or it's going to turn for a bigger push down because it won't break the high of the short. So that's my target. So just slide your screen back over to where we're at now. So just like that, all I'm doing is looking at what the candles have done. It's either going to turn here and do a nice short before a bigger long, or it's going to just do a quick pullback and do a bigger long. And that fair value gap on the 4 hours is going to hold. If it holds, it's got a new target up top.
The fair value gap on the 4 hour where it currently is, you mean?
Correct.
And
it's already been punctured. So does that now mean it's going to have to create another new high? And if that's the case, it's broken all the structure all the way across on the daily. So I'm only trading at the highs and the lows of structure.
Hey, wait. Stop just for a second, Tom. Just for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to get this straight in my head because at the moment, what I've seen is on the 4 hour, let's just work concern 4 hour. So 4 hour, we've got a fair value gap, but it's come down and taken it out, but continues up. Is it not if it takes the fair value gap that that it would sell? I'm just trying to work it out. See over here, it didn't hold, it broke, but then it went back up. Here, it punctured, didn't hold, but it's more likely to go up. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying how this plays out. I can't tell you what it's going to do as of now. All I'm doing is pointing out that this fair value gap has already been taken
The
with
current
that liquidity sweep.
The
Yes.
current one, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So now it's
but this has also been taken. This has
Yep.
also been taken.
Yep.
This hasn't been taken.
Correct.
And this hasn't been taken. And this hasn't
Right.
been taken.
Right.
So the daily and the 4 hour haven't been taken in this section here. And also too, the 4 hour here, that hasn't been taken. So this whole bit here has not been, it's not been well, that's punctured, but not completely taken.
Right.
So this is where my head is like, but if they're not taken, it's more likely to continue in the buy direction. Yeah, in that instance. But because these have been taken, is it not likely that it will turn?
No.
Okay.
ICE is going to do whatever it wants to do.
No, I understand that.
These have nothing to do with that.
But if you're looking for it for either a continuation or for a reversal, like a turning point, a swing high or a swing low, these aren't telling you that. That's what I thought they were good for.
Because you're looking at them as these should have a reflection on what the market's going to do. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. Okay.
What it's doing is it's telling you it's setting a trade up. At this point, it's setting up. You're using the fair value gap as part of a setup. You're not, if it was just gone and you could look at that and go, oh, it created a fair value gap. Oh, look, it punctured it. Even if those boxes are gone, what it's telling you is there's imbalance here in the market. It needs to correct and then decide on a decision on which way it wants to go. And all you're using these fair value boxes, gaps is to tell you it's setting up. The move itself is setting up. So for example, you can see the 4-hour box, right?
Which
on the
one?
4
you
hour.
mean the current
I'm sorry,
one?
you can see the daily box on the 4-hour.
Yeah, this big one here. Yeah.
Okay. You see how it didn't come up? You see how it didn't come back in touch?
Yeah, correct. Well, it did come back to the top of it, but didn't. Oh, and up here it didn't come back. There it didn't come back. Yeah.
Okay, so slow down. Go back to where it touched the 4-hour box.
The daily, you mean?
Yes.
Just there.
Just there. Okay. Throw a trend line on from the top of that red wick above it, where that push is. Grab a trend line real quick. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, go up. Up. Right there. Start a trend line right there.
To where?
Across. To the green candle, to the red wick. Right across.
Like that?
Yep, just like that. Okay, so you know it has a failed fair value gap here because it created one, because it shot through it.
Hang on.
Right above it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you look at that, the failed fair value gap on the 4-hour just below it.
That's failed. And that's
That's
failed.
failed. So that pushed up and then pulled back,
Yeah.
but couldn't beat this fair value gap down here at the bottom, right?
The daily one or the
Nope,
one here.
that one right there.
Yeah, which was created and broken. Yeah.
But it couldn't
And
beat it again.
No.
Okay. So you know that's pushing up now on that candle right there because it failed to break. It created the very next candle above it, following your trend line.
Mm-hmm.
So put your finger back where it was.
Just there, you mean?
Down one.
Yeah, yeah. So it
Right
came
there.
down,
Okay.
didn't
You see
break
how
that.
you see how it follows your trend line?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
And it
the one
didn't beat
up.
this fair value gap box.
Yeah, yep.
So it's giving you a signal we're going back up.
Mm-hmm.
The next candle forms, but doesn't beat this bottom candle here. Then the fair value gap that you drew in originally is your entry. If it can't beat this fair value gap, it's going to take that one. So your entry is at the top of that fair value gap.
Just here.
Right there. And the
Yeah.
bottom is your stop loss where it failed to
Yeah.
beat the fair value gap.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's telling you, if you
So-
look at each one of these, it comes back and touches and then takes off.
So it would be like that to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, would I take that trade? Probably not, because I'd be in the ones down at the bottom. That's too close to structure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because now I'm looking at this to pull back just a little into this fair value gap a couple times before I get one solid candle out of it, out of the fair value gap that it's created on the 4-hour time frame,
But not break the one lower.
but not break the one lower. Because then we would be going in a down, or at least that low right there where that last fair value gap missed. As long as it comes down there.
And if we have a short, it'll be an extra confirmation.
Right. That's how I use
Probably.
them. I only use them at structure points.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get a short here and I get a nice long red candle, I'm putting a fair value gap box in there. If we get a long here with a nice big engulfing green candle, I'm putting a fair value box
you
right there.
You won't get a long because we haven't had a short yet.
Well, that's why I said if I get a nice long green candle here,
Oh, right.
I'm putting a fair value box there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's either going to break it and come down, or it's going to go down and push back up and break it, go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got to break structure up the top, or it's got to break structure down at the bottom with those long.
Yeah.
So if we're truly in this for a long, and it's going to break up to the left, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for the right structural setup using fair value gaps, not to determine which direction it's going, but to see which direction it's going because of the fair value gap it created.
Because it either breaks or doesn't break it.
Right.
Well, even if it does break it, doesn't mean it won't break the previous one before that. But if you get where it breaks a number of the fair value gaps, then there's a change of direction potentially.
Well, yeah, because every move, every candle, this entire screen changes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
With direction. So that's why I'm saying either it's going to push down.
Okay, so here, this fair value gap, the current one we're right at where price is at, is not telling us that it's going to go into a sell because it's punctured, right? Or it's or actually been taken. All it's saying is this could go up, it could go down.
It's setting up for a trade.
Yeah.
So when I look at this,
But
no,
hang on a minute. yet in this instance, this is punctured down, taken out that equity of that fair value gap, but it hasn't taken the next one. So
Right.
is that giving you more of a 50% chance that it's going to buy than to sell?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm going to need about 6 more candles and better signal.
Okay.
But what I'm going to use is that diagram that I sent.
No, you mean
To start showing me what I'm looking for failed
this
ones and
thing?
ones that'll hold. That's right. What does it look like? Go backwards. There you go. That's what it looks like. Or keep going back. One more. Or maybe that's what it looks like. I'm looking for these to play out.
Okay, I'm going to have to play with this
I'm
week.
using
So
these
that's,
as reference cards.
yeah.
So if this is playing out, I want to see if it's going to break this bottom down here with that long green wick and I get a short or a nice engulfing short candle.
Yeah,
Then it's going to pull back, create another, it's going to push, create a fair value gap. Then it's
correct.
going to do a pullback into the fair
Correct.
value gap. I'll see if it
Yep.
fails. If it fails, I know we're continuing down because then it's going to have to break the next low.
Right.
If it's going up, I'm looking for a nice green candle up, create a fair value gap, see if it gets punctured or taken at all, and then continue up. If it absolutely just shoots out of here, well, then I missed it.
Okay.
So
And
don't
then
worry
here,
about what every fair value gap in the line. That's why I was saying you don't have to put all these in. You're only looking at the ones that structure. Because we all know it's going to come back and take all this out eventually, some way, somehow. We just want to be in the direction of the trend. That's what the most recent fair value gap is going to try and help us determine.
so you only want to sort of look at what the swing height of this or the swing low to get the sort of the trend and to be in the trend.
Right.
Okay.
I want the fat of the trade, not the tips of the trade.
Yeah, not the big such. I understand that.
Is that absolutely confusing, Darren?
A little bit interesting, but yeah.
I think it relates, Darren, to your daily decision making
Oh, yeah, I
process
think it
that
does.
you
Yeah.
um,
See, I was one thought that came into mind as I was listening and watching that was, could that be useful when you're managing a trade? You know, sort of on the way up, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
to move in stop losses.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
You know, before if you stop loss below the fair value gap, in other words, for example. So you know, it could come back, take out the fair value gap, and then carry on, or it could just go straight through. In which case, you know,
You want to
it's changed
yeah,
direction, so you probably should be out of it anyway.
correct. That's what I was about
Yeah.
to say, Darren. Yeah.
So that's what
And that
I was
would
thinking.
minimize then potential longer term loss, like those
Yeah.
JPYs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. Uh
Or giving away a load of profit, which has happened a few times.
correct. Yeah, both ways, meaning
Yeah.
then we've got the AUD Tuesday we've got a rate decision to say or keep it on hold. And there's also the day later. When is the day later, isn't it? Yeah, the day later, we got our CPI. So
The wrong way around that, isn't it?
The inflation figures come out. Yeah.
You need the inflation figures first, then make a decision.
Yeah, I think it's actually suiting the RBA because they don't want to change the rates. And so they're going to say, well, we don't know what the figures are that they're already talking about, but they want to wait till the next one. And then everybody here is saying it's not going to change until at least February next year. They're going to hold us off until February because they need this to be between 2 and 3. And the problem was last week was that unemployment was staying the same level. It wasn't getting any worse, which they want more people to be unemployed and things to be tougher before they'll actually lower interest rates. Bastards. But that's what gets the inflation under control.
Yeah.
So much is written here at the moment about the fact that every other country except for Australia is basically have lowered their interest rates, and Australia is still there. But the thing is, Australia didn't actually push it as high as other countries. See, we're only 4.35, or not only, but lots of the others were 5 and 5.5. And so theirs were, and ours is really quite different here in Australia because everybody with a home loan gets affected by those interest rates. Where, say, for in the US, it's only people that take out a new loan. People who are on the loans from before, it doesn't get changed for them. They're still on a lower rate, which I think in the UK, it's also they're affected as a group.
You can fix a rate for like sort of 2 years or whatever. You can opt in for. Well, eventually that deal sort of comes to an end, and then you get hit with the
increased rate or decreased rate or decreased.
Interest rates are on the way down. You can lock yourself in with too high a rate. You're not careful.
Yeah, correct. And then it not take advantage of it actually lowering. Yeah. So anyway. So let's look at Tom, you've got your eye across this. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, we've broken that trend line. It's popped up past it. There's a nice fair value gap in there on the 4 hour, and it hasn't broken it.
So start on your daily. Where's your full first fair value gap on the daily?
Hang on. Let's get rid of that. Hang on. On the daily here. You mean the first from where price is now?
Yes.
Well, it's just in there.
You're trying to pick a target.
It's just there.
No, it's the one from left. Shrink it down a little bit. It's down the other way.
Yeah. What do you mean the other way? You mean have it?
Yeah, shrink it down. Keep going. Oh. Right there. Okay, you see the fair value gap to the left?
Here.
For that big candle right there, that great big one.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, that's a fair value gap. Could you put a box in there real quick?
Sure.
Any box, doesn't matter. Okay, that's my target. You already beat the short.
Well, you got another one up here.
Lower time frame.
I know. Whoa. Still got that there as well. That's part of that short candle. Yeah.
Okay. So start right at the beginning. There you go. Fine. See the short up at the top?
Yep, that one.
Where's the top of the wick?
Yeah, it's just above where the fair value
gap is. Okay,
yeah.
So this fair value
same sort of thing as the ACAD, yeah?
Exactly. So this fair value gap is above the short in the middle, right?
Yeah, that short there.
Right. So that fair value gap hasn't been taken yet, right?
That one and that one haven't.
Nope,
That
just this
came
one.
up,
Just this one.
the top one,
Nope.
that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that hasn't been
Just
taken.
this
Yep.
one.
Yep.
So just this one is what I'm looking for. This is my target. So now drop down to the 4 hour.
Mm. Right. There.
So there's my target,
Well, just here.
just there. So I'm looking for a pullback at price.
It's
Go to the
already
price.
done that. It's already done that though.
Right. Go to the price though.
What do you mean? Over here?
Yeah. In fact, you could just get rid of the daily for the moment. Okay. You see where price is at now?
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a fair value gap there?
In here,
Yep.
below it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Can. Yeah. I was just wondering where you want me to do it. That's okay. It
We'll
hasn't
get through
broken
this.
it. It's only
Okay.
come down and touched it.
So to me, this is setting up. You already have liquidity swept at the top. See it?
Yeah. Over to the left. Yeah.
The two candles come up,
Yeah.
one green,
That's
one red.
already.
Too high.
Yeah. That's
Way too high. Way too high. Go back to where you were.
over here.
Yeah. See the candles
I
right? Nope. Go back to where price is now. Right,
up here.
right there. See that red candle?
Yep.
Okay. You see the red candle just to the left of it?
Yep.
You
Yep.
see
The
how it
whole
took the
point to.
high?
Yeah. It took the high out. Yeah.
Okay. So all I'm looking for now is this to work back into this fair value gap. You already have a red wick candle. See the red
Yeah.
wick candle?
The current one, the last one of the week. Yeah.
That's right. So you beat the high to the left.
Yep.
I'm looking for this to pull back into this fair value gap, wick it,
Into
do
that.
whatever it's going to do.
Yeah.
Even if it gives me a short,
Yeah.
I'm looking for this to come below this fair value gap.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Come
I'm
down
looking
through.
for this not to beat the long down here in the middle
Yep. This long down here. Yep. Which is there.
and then break back up
Okay.
because that's my
Right.
target up there. So I'm looking for a buy at this point. We've now broke the
Your
high to the
target
left,
is to go into it, touch it, whatever. Doesn't really
whatever it's going to
matter.
do. As long as it
Okay.
now go back to the daily. Split your screen again. Go back to the daily.
Now, hang on a minute. Can I ask a question at this point?
Well, I'm going to answer your question just real quick. Go back to the daily. Split your screen.
Yeah.
And look, you have a long on the daily.
Yeah.
So
There.
I'm only interested in longs on the 4 hour
At this point.
at this point because I'm looking
Yeah.
for a
Because it
continuation
matches
up.
up with that long. Yeah.
Until it proves to me it's going to short by changing color of the color of your line on the green one on the to red on the daily, and you give a
Yeah.
short on the daily, then I'll reconsider. Until then, I'm looking only for buy. Go ahead with your question.
In the event that it breaks this long down the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going in a sell direction, is it?
I would be looking for sales at that point. Yeah,
Yeah. And you would have a short by that time anyway.
you'd probably have two of them.
What short? You have a short, then a long, then
Long,
another short.
short. Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I let it play out as long as I possibly can. Do I miss trades because I waited too long? Yes, but I'm not. I'm trying not to jump in early at all. My trading's
But what
my
you're
trading's
saying is,
changing.
but what you are saying though is that it's that your uh potential, or so your projection on this or forecast would be more likely a buy than a sell
Yes,
because of the target above.
and because it says long
And
on the daily.
yeah. And would you you can't predict necessarily, but I'm saying it depends on whether it will actually take all of that, go through that, or whether it'll only come up to touch it and go away.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you notice, every time a fair value gap gets broken,
Or taken, or yeah,
taken, or
whatever.
something.
Yeah.
So the only
And
thing I look
that could be
for,
with a candle, with the body, or a wick, or whatever.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You have no idea what's going to happen after it gets taken. So the
Yeah.
only thing I do is I leave them on
Mm-hmm.
until it gets taken. And what I mean by that is it's been ran through and moved to the next zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take it off my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So if this 4 hour gets ran through, it gets pushed down, pulled up, pulled back, touches it, and takes off to the next one, I'll get rid of it. And then I'll work on this big one. And typically,
Yeah.
if it's going to continue up,
Yeah.
it's going to want to get on both sides of this fair value gap, meaning it's going to puncture through, pull back, even if it's by 1 pip, get on the
Yeah.
other side of this fair value gap, and then push
Mm-hmm.
higher to the next
Yeah.
big area.
Yeah.
Or you're going to get up into this fair value gap and you're going to go bounce, 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 bounce. All of a sudden, you're going to get a lot of short and it's going to drop off. And you're going to get a short on the
Well,
daily.
yeah, and you look over here where price is currently now, it's broken the previous high, but not this high.
Right. And if it's going to beat that high, what's keeping it from beating the previous high?
Which is up there.
Right. There's no short in between.
No.
So again, as long as this thing's telling me long, I'm looking for buys. I just got to be careful when I get in. So I've already started my next trend line from the top of that red wick of where it's at now down, because it's going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, whatever the case may be. When it breaks
So
that downtrend
you got a little trend line from that top there down that way, sort of thing.
down to the end of the fair value gap someplace, yeah. Yeah, someplace in there. And typically when it breaks that trend line, I'm looking for a long signal.
Yes. Yeah, for it to buy. Because all it ever does is pushes and pulls, doesn't it?
That's it.
No.
Either on a smaller scale, on a smaller time frame, or a bigger scale
Yeah.
on a higher time frame.
Yeah.
And all I'm trying to do is just catch those 4 hour pushes that create the daily time frame candles.
Yeah.
Because it's got to create a new high, then it's got to create a new low. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what did the candle do before it? Oh, they were both green. Oh, it's at a fair value gap. Oh, you're at structure. Well, let's see if it turns here. If it turns here, it's going to give me a short on the daily.
Yeah.
I'll put a trend line on, let it ride the trend line till it tells me to buy again. And usually that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days away from that one short to the long. 16 days. How many trades did you get in 16 days on the
You mean
4 hour
over
time
here on the
frame?
daily from that short to that long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though that looks like a small move, that's a sweet move, man.
Yeah, but it did come up though, and if you from that short, that would unless you have
Yeah, you
your
take the
stop
high on
loss
the
above
daily.
it. Yeah.
And if you notice, it came down, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. Where is that on the 4 hour? You see that long white candle after the short?
Yeah, hang on. No, there.
Right
That
there.
one.
Okay. So go to the short to the left, over 2. Right there. Find that fair value
that
gap.
one. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, so that is the short there. That's
Go
that
over 2.
day there. 1, 2. Yeah.
Right there. Find that fair value gap right there.
Well,
Right there.
it's there.
Yep. Draw that fair value gap real quick.
Came up, took it out, and down it went.
See what I mean?
But it came up into it here. It tried to come up, yeah, and it came up, didn't take it all, came back down, then took it, then it dropped off.
So then where it says short, right there,
Here, this short.
there's another fair value gap, right? From the bottom of that green candle to the top of the green wick.
Was a red wick there.
No, up, right there. Top of that green wick to the bottom of the green candle to the left. No, up.
Oh, that one there. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came up, took it.
And took it, and the one.
Now look at this though. I literally just said it came up, took out the fair value gap, 1 and 2. It's taken them, right?
Yeah. To
Now
the
the
left,
only
yeah.
fair value gap, do you see where that green wick go to where price is now? You see the green wick that punctured that box down at the bottom?
That one there.
Right there. Do you see where it came out?
What do you mean where it
Keep
came
blowing
out?
it up. Keep blowing it up. Keep blowing it up.
Well, that one did as well. That came down to the other one.
But look, it came down to the other one and created the fair value gap. But that green wick, it got to the other side. No. Go up into that green. No.
Other side of that one.
No. Go to the middle one. No. Go back. That one right there. Show me the bottom of that green wick.
Which is just there.
Right. You see how it came out the side of the other fair value gap?
Yeah.
It made it. It made it. It pushed up past it, right through it, nice and strong, but it had to get back on the other side of that box. It had to.
Before it took off.
Before it takes off. This is going to turn into a liquidity grab for all the stop losses that were up here. Now they have both groups trapped. You got a trap from the trap from the buy. Now you got a trap from the sell.
Yeah, in this.
That's right. You're now trapped if you were in either one of those trades.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking for this to come back, take all these shorts out down here that are now lined up. I'm sorry, these longs underneath these 2 green wicks. Poke into this fair value gap down here at the bottom, and then take off. That's the displacement I'm looking for.
And this, both of those.
This one's gone. This is the top one's now gone. It just got eaten.
Got eaten back there.
Right. So now I'm looking for this.
Well, it actually got eaten back here.
No, it didn't. That's why I created the red candles. It was coming back for more.
Right. Okay.
If it was going to keep going, it would have never broke this fair value gap.
Yeah, okay.
Just
It's
like
that
this
candle
one
that's
that's
done it.
creating.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the one it's creating. So now I'm looking for this to pull back into this fair value gap, give it some displacement, 1, 2, 3, try and get through, do a 1 pip, just like this little green wick did here on this top candle,
To the bottom of it here, for
to the
example.
bottom of this, and then take
And
off
then
again.
potentially.
Potentially, because I'm only looking for buys, and that's how I'm using the fair value gap. Either they're going to
And
hold.
would you put your entry at the top of the fair value gap?
I don't know. I have to play out. I'm not there
Let's
yet.
play out. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, we'll discuss it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, right. Just something to observe. Yeah, okay. And it's good to not know. That's the thing. That's what I'm just saying. We can't say whether it's going to buy or sell, but there's more inclination for it to continue to buy at the moment because of this long here. And we haven't got any change on what's happening. Okay. Right out. And fair value gaps I've got a lot to play in amongst it all. Okay. Okay. Questions, Darren?
No, not from me. Not from me.
Well, you're still in a whole lot of trades?
I am 22 of them. 22.
Did you get into that AUD NZD?
Yeah, I've been in that for a little while, that now. A few days. It's just mulling around at the moment.
Yeah.
Can't get it
For
anywhere.
that long. Okay.
JPYs have made a move, haven't they? The end of the week.
AJ. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm now backing CAD JPY and USD JPY, backing both of them.
What about CFX?
Yeah, I mean that one. That's in profit at the minute. CH
and the UJ. Okay. Well, you're back in the J's. Okay.
Yeah. CHF JPY's made a good start. That's
Yeah.
pushing up quite well.
And the Singapore Japanese yen are all pushing up too.
Yeah, that one. They're all in profit at the moment, so that's good.
Well, the rate decision kept on hold. Okay. So that could also be, yeah, okay. Don't want to read anything into it. I'm just trying to, okay. MJ, that would have, yeah, that's all gone too.
I'm still in that one from the previous lot.
Yeah, it didn't come out. That's right.
I've moved the stop loss up now, so.
And GJ has as well.
Yeah.
And Euro J, yeah.
Yeah, back on GJ.
There you go, it's 7:40.
Yeah, I got a 6:48 or 7:48. Sorry. Sorry, guys.
7:48.
Oh, so it's an hour away.
No, 6:48.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I just asked.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got to take Claire to the station. So sorry, I'm a bit of discussion and yeah. Anyway, I better get going. I will, yeah, I'll just see what happens today after the market opens and where it goes to. We'll see. But I think this week is where I want to try and get back into some trades and maybe look at some of what you're doing there, Tom, or decision-making process. We'll talk about it more. Okay.
Okie dokie.
Thank you. All right then. Take it. You out on the road today, this week, Darren, or?
Not at the moment, no. Not at the moment. It might
Oh.
change, but no. As it stands on at the desk this week.
Oh, tied to the desk. Okay, rightio. Rightio then. Until tomorrow. Take it easy. Let's see how the market opens and what happens, and I'll be looking more at these fair value gaps.